I was asked to explain how I got started in digital marketing, how I arrived where I am today, and some things that I learned along the way. So I graduated from college with a degree in graphic design and illustration. At the time, the internet or digital marketing wasn't really a big thing yet. I ended up graduating and getting a job at an advertising firm, and I had to essentially learn to drink from a fire hose at this job. And what I learned there was really invaluable. Here are just a few bits of advice. Check your work, then check it again, and have someone else check it, especially if it's going to be printed. You can't take forever with every task. There are deadlines, and sometimes your work needs to be just good enough in a production environment. I actually had a tyrant for a boss that yelled constantly to motivate people. You can never motivate people through fear. It didn't work for me, and I've kept that lesson with me ever since. I lasted about 8 months at this job, and finally I just had to leave and move on. I ended up getting a job at our local newspaper, the Akron Beacon Journal, and during this time I started doing freelance work as well. That created the beginnings of a business. At the newspaper, I designed ads, a wide variety of promotional materials, and even corporate business cards. In a single day, I could be helping to sell carpet cleaning, promote an event, or try to sell a $50,000 luxury vehicle. I learned a lot about marketing tactics, messaging, sales, strategy, and all the rest. I think I learned more here in 1 year than I did over my entire school and working career to that point. Here's just a few more things that I learned from my experience there. There's always time to learn. I remember devouring books on software and design during my lunch hour, and that time allowed me to really advance in my skills and in my job. I also learned to work real quick and efficiently. If I thought that deadlines were real before, this was a whole nother level. Every day we had an influx of work and tasks that absolutely had to be done that day because the newspaper was being printed that night. I also learned that a boss that doesn't yell can be a great motivator and supporter, and that your team can make or break you. My boss was invited to my wedding, and I miss her to this day. Eventually, I heard that the newspaper was creating a small team of people to look into this internet thing. I eventually joined that pirate team, and we began to figure out how to automate and publish news stories online every day, how to create digital advertising, and also how to design and code a website, which was, as a designer, was completely outside of my skills that I had to that point. Again, during this time, I was also using those skills to do freelance work and learn on my own as well. And I ended up working for the Akron Beacon Journal for over a decade. And through that experience, I built up a pretty solid foundation of skills. Long story short, I took all that experience in the freelance business that I had, and I ended up quitting my job. This led to me starting Sanctuary. And after about 7 years of working by myself, I ended up joining forces with one of my childhood best friends, who is now my business partner, and I guess the rest is history. I guess this is my final bit of advice, that sometimes you just have to start. If you don't, you'll really never be able to accomplish anything.